Hello everyone, Berserkhead here and welcome to my new series called Total War Mod Review, in which I review many different mods for the games of the Total War franchise. Today, I'll be taking a look at Europa Barbarorum, which is a mod for Rome Total War, and it has a very difficult name to pronounce because it's in Latin. I'm going to review all the major advantages and disadvantages of the mod and express my opinion about it. Let's start with the advantages. The first very important advantage of the mod is that everything looks different. The unit graphics are improved, the menu looks different, there are different loading screens and so on. By the way, all of this stuff is custom made, created especially for the mod, and it really adds a unique feeling when you play. Another advantage of the mod is that it offers new, completely rebalanced map. It's expanded to the north, the south and the east, so now some parts of Scandinavia are present on the map, as well as the Near East and Western Asia. This will allow you to play as Bactria, Sakharauka and Saba, but the map is not only expanded, it is also completely updated, and now there are many more settlements, resources and everything on it looks better. Another advantage is that you're going to see the factions with their real names, just like they were in 272 BC, which is the starting year of the campaign. So instead of Rome, you have the Romani, instead of Egypt, you have the Ptolemy, instead of Macedon, you have Macedonia, and so on and so forth. But this is not all. When you play with a certain faction, they will speak in their native language in real-time battles. I cannot really explain this without showing you, so just watch this and listen carefully. You may have also noticed that the music is different, and that is because the mod has a completely different soundtrack, which in my opinion is far better than the original one. Europa Barbarorum also has a configuration launcher from which you can customize some little details, like whether if you want naked units to be fully naked or censored, and you can do some other things. For example, you can turn the unit banners off, or you can make the number of units on the battlefield unlimited. Another thing that I should mention about this mod is that all the units and buildings are removed and replaced with new ones. As I mentioned earlier, everything in this mod is custom made, so you won't find any of the units or the buildings from the vanilla version. And the last advantage is not really a major one, but I decided to include it because I just thought the idea is very original. Every time when the year changes, you're going to see windows containing enormous amount of information about what happened in this particular year in real life. So while playing, you can learn some history, but of course only if you're willing to read. If not, you can just close these windows and continue playing. And now it's time for the disadvantages. I'll start with the biggest one. The campaign is terribly difficult. You start with hardly any army, no economy and no money to establish one. Before you begin, the game will tell you the level of difficulty of all the factions, but even the Romani, which are said to be the easiest faction, are extremely difficult to play. Maybe this applies only to me, and it is due to the fact that all the buildings are different and you have to build an economy in a completely different way. But still, I think that the campaign is needlessly difficult. Don't get me wrong, I consider myself an advanced Rome Total War player, but even though I've spent countless hours playing this game, I still can't manage to do well in the campaign. In conclusion, I could suggest that advanced Rome Total War players should definitely try the mod, although I wouldn't suggest it to beginner players. But enough about that. The next disadvantage of the mod is that all of this language thing is sometimes confusing. I mean, why should the Latin names of the units be in front of the English names? I don't think that there are enough players who know Latin well enough to understand all of the unit names. It is totally cool that the modders decided to put the Latin names of the units in the game, but instead of putting the English names in brackets and Latin names in front, they could have just done this the other way around, putting the English names in front and Latin names in brackets. But as well as the previous disadvantage, this could again apply just to me, and many Total War players may actually like it. And the last disadvantage of the mod is that it has the same problems with multiplayer that Stainless Steel has. You can try to play multiplayer, but there will be no one to join your game. But even if they do, you can use only a small selection of units, and on top of that they will be exactly the same for all of you. This also applies to custom battles, and that is a big disappointment because the mod makes the battles more realistic, and if you want a good battle experience, you should rely on single player campaign. Anyways, these were all the major advantages and disadvantages of the mod. Of course, there are many more things that could be mentioned about Europa Barbarorum, but I think this is pretty much everything you need to know. So now on the screen you can see all of the advantages and disadvantages that I mentioned. Hopefully after watching this video, you'll be able to decide whether to download and install the mod or not. My name is Berserkhead and I hope you liked the video. See you next time, goodbye.